Good evening, everyone. This is Jan from orJANics 50nRaw, and I'm here in my whole body vibration studios. This is my website. What is in my website? GogaStudiosMcAllen.com, and have no clients right now, so I wanted to make a quick video. In my last few videos, I've been asking about food addiction, if anybody had any experience with getting over the cooked food addiction. And because when I'm having to be surrounded by food, I'm having to cook a lot of food, and I'm wanting it, I'm craving it, and it's like I'm not giving into it, but it's also stressing me out that I can't have it, and I don't want to spend my whole year eating all raw and maybe longer being stressed out because I can't eat cooked food. So God is so amazing. In the mail yesterday, I got a magazine that I've been getting for 20 years, and it's a free magazine that I get from a ministry called No Greater Joy. And it's a ministry out of Tennessee, and it's a Christian organization. They teach on how to train your children, how to be a good husband, how to be a wonderful wife, and they're really focused on godliness in the family, but they also do a wonderful ministry around the world and teaching just Bible and living, and anyway, it's a great organization, and I highly recommend everybody checks it out. It's called No Greater Joy, and I think I'll put their website on the comments if anybody's interested. So I open up, getting in my sauna this afternoon, and I open up my magazine to read in my sauna, and there is the first article in it is called Freedom from Addictions. So I was like, oh God, you're sending me my answer here. So the article was really great. Talked about what addiction is, and I'm just going to read you what he says. The addiction is the state of being enslaved to a substance or habit, the cessation of which, it means if you stop it, it will cause emotional distress or bodily trauma. And I have been under some distress getting away from the cooked food. It takes away from ordinary life responsibilities such as work, relationships, or health, and consumes a disproportionate amount of time and energy. And I can see, looking back, I mean, I like the extra spearmint gum and have been addicted to it several times off and on. And I could be at home craving that gum so badly that I would get in my car and go to Walmart and buy a package of gum just so that I can have that flavor in my mouth. Of course, a lot of food addiction comes with chemical addictions as well, because of all the chemicals that they're putting in our food. They are causing us to be chemically addicted to it as well as emotionally addicted to it. It goes through the chemical or the physiological reasoning of food addiction, and with the, he says in his article, with the invention of the MRI, they can actually measure brain activity in the different areas in the different lobes, and they can actually tell by where your brain activity is how you're feeling, and happy, sad, mad, angry. And he says that our brain is wired to want to receive pleasure, and so we avoid things that are displeasing. It says here, you've heard the term a dopamine rush, to express sudden surges of pleasure. Well, that can be experienced by some people by eating sugar. They eat a lot of sugar, or I've seen this actually even in my daughter. She will be extremely hungry, and she will be hypoglycemic or just grumpy, maybe it's a chemical addiction, and she'll sit down and she'll eat a bowl of pasta, and I can see that dopamine surge in her. She will turn into a completely different person. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So hopefully, Jade, I will be able to influence you to eat more raw, and she does pretty good. She drinks her green shakes, and she drinks kombucha, and she tries. So some of the happy chemicals that are released in your brain are dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins that release pleasure. They're pleasure chemicals in your brain. And the unhappy ones are like the cortisol and the epinephrine. So the next time you look at a dessert, or the next time I look at cooked food or chicken fried rice or whatever it may be, that happy hormone is going to say, eat it, it will give you pleasure, eat it, you want to eat it, it will give you pleasure. And when so it's prompting me, so when I don't give into it, that unhappy chemical is released, making me feel miserable or unhappy or unsatisfied. So he talks about a war of chemicals going on in your brain. So here's the hope that I was looking for in his article is he talks about whether it's willpower or whether it's God power, it will take to 7 weeks of you know, resisting that. For me, what I'm talking about right now is resisting that cooked food, for my brain to recreate those neural pathways, for the chemicals in my brain to come to balance, so that when I'm cooking food for my family, I won't have this overwhelming desire to eat it, because my brain is saying, oh, that will bring you pleasure, indulge. And when I don't, then it releases that unhappy hormone and makes me feel like unsatisfied. So he says that it will take about 7 to 8 weeks, and then of any really addiction. He's not specifically talking about food addiction, but addiction in general. He says that after about 7 or 8 weeks, that if you can, through God power or willpower, control that addiction, that your brain will line up, your hormones will balance out, and your addiction cravings won't be as intense. So I'm looking forward to that happening. Anyway, I know it's possible to get over these cooked food cravings. It will just take some time.